By the time I was 27, I decided that I really had to take on the calling of being a writer. I sort of don't think I wanted to take that on. In some place in myself, I think I knew how hard that is to be a writer. What's that Dorothy Parker thing where she says, oh yeah, writing, you just sit at your desk and get yourself situated and open a vein. As painful and difficult as writing is, because you face your imperfections every single day, it's incredibly in the moment, a very meditative thing. A lot of the things that I do as an artist are about relationships and about nuance between people, and film is a really perfect medium for that. As a writer, filmmaker, I have to find ways, sometimes many ways, to immerse myself, get myself kind of deeply into the world of this little fledgling project. Sometimes they're images, sometimes it's photographs, and sometimes it's conversation. I love this one because this incredible reflection in this formica of their hands and their lowball glass and their ashtray, and so beautiful. It's a very demanding art form, but then every once in a while you get this kind of amazing bolt from the blue, where you just have this really great stream kind of happen. It's hard-earned, but it's definitely worth chasing. Definitely worth chasing.
Okay, here we go. Roll sound. Hey. Background.
This is where you're going? What is it, a party?
Thank you.
What, were you invited?
I'm going to see the friends and the drawings.
Stay Then Go is my first feature-length narrative film.
Cut.
Cut.
I've made 5 short films, but this one is my first feature-length. It's a warmly human meditation on sacrifice.
So you look good.
It's about a mother, her name is Marion Baird, who's very committed to raising her son, Eddie, who has autism and, language is difficult for him.
My glass.
My glass of root beer.
Yes, that's
And then
yours.
Dick Baird, her husband, who's Eddie's father.
When I hold my glass, I say, it's mine. And when you hold your glass, you say,
It's yours.
no, you say, it's mine.
It's mine.
Stay Then Go is based on my experience, inspired really more by my experience as Dietrich's mother. I found out that Dietrich had autism when Dietrich was probably 2. I got a call on a Saturday afternoon from his daycare woman saying, Dietrich is not playing with other kids. He doesn't answer them when they talk to him, and we're going to have somebody come and test him. And I was like hell you are. It's him at the ocean. That's his most favorite place on the planet. So this is actually Dietrich's first show. When people talk about special needs, it's certainly some of the needs are special, but it's actually more like just unlimited needs. The therapist that we were working with, she said, you have a choice. You can have a loved one in your family who has autism, or you can have an autistic family. Everything is about trying to help that person at the expense of your own growth and self-care. There was a time when I just thought, how could I not have this experience and not try to report back in some kind of way creatively?
How fair is it that one person in the family is made to be the most important? How healthy is that?
We needed help. You made me choose between taking care of our son and our marriage. What kind of a person does that?
When I think of Shelli's voice as a writer and as a filmmaker, I see a person who has tremendous empathy, who is intuitive, and is very authentic. When we first started working on Stay Then Go, we didn't necessarily know what shape the film would take. Shelli didn't want to necessarily tell her story. She needed to create a distance between herself and that character.
Stay Then Go was just a very, very challenging script to write because I didn't want it to be autobiographical. It was like a code that was very difficult to crack. I think what makes a rich character for me is someone who has a lot of complexity. And I started to think about that mother and who she was and what she wanted. I came up with this idea that Marion created these how-to videos for Eddie, like how to go on a date and how to go to the grocery store.
I am at the grocery store. Each grocery store is a little different.
But they became not just something that she was making for him, but they were also so much for herself as well.
How to relax. Pick a time every day to take a few. A few means 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths.
What I realized is that she's a tragic character who had given up everything to raise her child.
You've lost your spirit. Yeah. Something like that.
Directing is so rewardingly three-dimensional after the excruciating pain of writing. It's just such an amazing thing.
Action.
One of my favorite things is to work with actors and get a performance that takes the flatness of the page and elevates it to another world.
Eddie! Eddie! Not Dad! I am different than Dad. Not Dad. I'm Eddie.
The thing that is the most interesting to me is the experience of sitting in an audience and having them laugh. It's extremely surprising to me, the intensity of response. What I would love for Stay Then Go to do, if it could just puncture consciousness, just create just a little more openness for Dietrich or anyone who has autism to have a little easier time in the world. It's sort of a funny thing because, you know, writing is completely insular and solo, and then there's directing, which is just completely the opposite in a way. I mean, a film set is just inherently social. And then there's the piece of now that it's done and going out and going to film festivals, and that has a kind of public feel to it. But then it's just so funny to think that, but I always have to go back to my little writing room. Now Stay Then Go sort of is toddling off into its future. I have a new project that I'm working on. There's a lot of things to do as far as putting Stay Then Go out there in the world, but I have this incredible sense of responsibility to make room for every single day working on this new project. I mean, it's just something that I have to do. And that's what I'm doing now.